5 years ago, U.S. Airways Flight 1549 crashed into the Hudson. But because of a highly skilled pilot and the determination to stay alive, 155 people survived. Ebru's Tasmin Mahfuz joins us live now with more on the 5th anniversary of the miracle on the Hudson. Tasmin.
Definitely. It's one of the most successful marine rescues in aviation history. Now, on this day 5 years ago, U.S. Airways Flight 1549 had just left LaGuardia Airport when a flock of geese disabled its engines. And within 280 seconds, that plane made a crash landing right here behind me on the icy waters of the Hudson River. And within moments, 155 passengers were confronted with the ultimate challenge of a lifetime. You might not know their names, but chances are you remember seeing this sight on the news. On January 15, 2009, U.S. Airways Flight 1549 crashed into the Hudson River. But it was an extraordinary landing for Captain Chelsea Sullenberg, who safely glided into the water. Eileen Schleffer was sitting in an aisle seat, seat 13D, when the plane crashed. She remembers seeing the chaos in the plane and feeling terrified.
Most of us probably didn't know we had landed in the water, which is why we all left without our flotation devices or our life jackets, because what a lot of us could see from an aisle perspective was buildings on both sides.
Experts say if these ferry crews had not responded as quickly as they did, many people would have died or suffered from hypothermia.
Your limbs go numb and you can't move and you can barely speak. Your mind's still working, but your limbs aren't functioning anymore. And so it was a very good sight to see the ferries.
Today, the pilots, crew, and passengers celebrated the 5th anniversary of the rescue with a ferry ride on the Hudson River and a toast to life.
I still remember that cold from 5 years ago, so this was a really welcome event today.
It was all smiles for everyone on the boat, and just like that day, passengers were taken back to New York Waterway Ferry Terminal.
It's certainly changed, my life as both Sully and I, as the pilots, have led different lives since then, extraordinary lives, another lifetime, you might even say. But the basics of your life are still the same, the values that you have, the things that you hold important.
This was absolutely great today, being out on the water with a lot of the first responders, as well as with Sully and Jeff, who were the pilots that day, and also with some of the passengers. It was a special day for me, absolutely.
The scene of the crash captivated viewers across the country, and this rescue landing will never be forgotten. Now, the first ferry came within 4 minutes of the crash. About 14 ferries came all together to rescue all the passengers. And since then, there have been aviation recommendations, but Sullenberg said today that he's disappointed because none of them have been implemented yet. Logan, back to you.
All right, Tasmin Mahfuz reporting live tonight along the banks of the Hudson River. Thank you so much for that report.